across the plains. WCBH is on the go. Join us as we walk the Camino.
Good morning. It's day 31 on the Camino. We're walking from Villadangos del Paramo to a place called Hospital de Órbigo. It's one of our shorter walks of the Camino today, only 15 kilometres. And we thought we'd do something a little bit different for today. So rather than me talking to the listeners or Cheryl and I talking, we've got our WCBH regular, Jono. Jono's from Geelong. Jono often features on WCBH around the AFL and all other sports. But Jono, good morning to you. And we had a conversation the other day about the Camino, and then I thought, hey, wouldn't this be more interesting if we recorded it and included it as part of the pod?
Most definitely, Cam, and good afternoon, I will say to you and Sherilyn from down here in Geelong. It still blows my mind that I can sit here at my kitchen table in Geelong and speak to you over in Spain.
The technology is something quite exceptional, and that's probably one of the things that we should pick up on today as well, about what sort of technology that we're using to assist us and what we're able to do now, compared to what it must have been like 20, 30 years ago.
Most definitely. So let's just carry on with the technology aspect as we are, Cam. So as far as mapping the course, do you need to map the course, or is the trail set out pretty comfortable for you and you just follow your nose?
Yeah, so essentially what we do each day is we get up in the morning and we just follow a series of yellow arrows. Some of them are signs and some of them are just spray painted yellow arrows.
Yep.
Across Spain. Like it's reasonably well mapped out by the authorities that would oversee the Camino, but there are a whole range of apps available that help you track that. So, for example, one of the apps that we're using, if we get to a fork in the road and there's two different ways you can go,
Yep.
I would just open the app up, press a button, and then it will pinpoint using GPS where we are, and then we can sort of see which way to go. Or when we're sort of getting to a town, and you've got to find your accommodation rather than wandering the streets and asking questions and
Yep.
using those sorts of skills. You just plug the the directions into Google Maps and it takes you to your hotel. So I like it, the technology is so good, but there's
So do you?
also you also have lost something a little bit as well by using the technology.
Yeah, but if it keeps you safe and keeps you on the right path, but does your GPS stay locked in the whole time? And do you have coverage via the internet throughout the course, or does it drop out on you?
We have a local SIM, and it has data on it, so we haven't really ever been without coverage on the course. Like Spain's not a huge country compared to Australia. And we're going to town to town to town, and there's sometimes they're up to 20 kilometres away. Most likely, you're sort of passing a town every 5, 10 kilometres.
Yeah.
And there's a fair amount of industry up in this region of Spain as well. So, there's mobile phone towers everywhere. Yeah, we've
You're
been.
never far away from society, in some respect.
No, we're never too far away. Some days that the track is further away from the villages and further away from the main roads,
Yeah.
through the bush or the wilderness or farmland, etc. But
Yep.
I would imagine doing this 40 years ago, pre-mobile phones, pre-smartphones,
Yep.
easy access to all this sort of stuff, it would have been a very different experience where.
Well, you'd be carrying a compass, you'd be carrying a laminated map, you'd be really relying on those painted arrows.
Exactly. And your wits as well, and your
Yeah.
other pilgrims about, sort of talking, where are you going? Do you think we go this way? And all those sorts of things. And I just think of some of the other things. Comes to
Yeah.
booking accommodation. Um, we've got a series of apps there. You know, usually we're booking most things through booking.com.
Yes.
If we can't find accommodation through booking.com, I will just jump on Expedia. Can't find
Yep.
it on Expedia, we'll jump on to Wise Pilgrims, an app built
Yeah.
around the Camino, and they've got other suggested accommodation. We found a place on Wise Pilgrims. It's not really a booking app, but they've got, you know, contact numbers. So we WhatsApp the accommodation. They usually come back to us
Yep.
almost immediately through WhatsApp. So booking the accommodation, you know, that's all sorted. We need some cash, you know, transfer money using internet banking onto your card and all those sorts of things. Even down to sort of translation, you get stuck.
Yeah.
Or even when you're messaging people, put stuff in English, translate it to Spanish, etc. And you know the translation apps now, you just
Yeah.
hold your camera up to
Yeah.
a menu that's all in Spanish, and then
Yeah.
in most cases it will translate it through to English. So, like
Unbelievable.
technology is great, but I think there is a little bit of the experience that's lost.
Yeah.
And I suppose we could not use the technology, but yeah.
Well, let's wind the clock back, Cam. And how long had you been thinking and planning of doing the Camino? Like, has this been something that sat in the back of your mind for 30 years, or is it something that popped up a couple of years ago and thought, gee, that'd be good? How did you come about making the decision to and bite the bullet and go and do it?
Yeah, well, Sherilyn's here with me. What was it, 2017? We walked the last 5 days of the Camino from Saria to Santiago. So that would be a little over 100 kilometers. And I think before that, maybe 12 months before that, might have been what people we were working with might have been talking about it.
No, you were talking to a nurse. Um, and as most people know, you don't like needles. So to distract you, she was talking about walking the Camino. And that's where the idea came from.
Right.
You were fascinated with it and researched it, and that's where it came from.
And then you had the 100-kilometre taster in 2017 and thought, we need to go and do the whole lot.
Well, there was a movie that was out then as well, wasn't there? Martin Sheen, Emilio Estevez, The Way, that we would have watched that.
We watched
Right.
that, but I think we did the 100K first. I think it was 115 from Saria through, and it rained for 4 days out of the 5. And it was something probably that fascinated Cam more than it fascinated me, because I thought if this is just going to rain the whole way, that's me done.
Totally different. Yeah. Well,
I'm
you did well to go back, Sherilyn.
Yeah, well, you know how you go and buy all your waterproof stuff. Well, at that stage, we hadn't done a lot of research, and I don't know what we bought, but it wasn't waterproof by the end of the day.
So speaking of the waterproof gear, what sort of gear are you rolling with at the moment? Are you getting rain there, or have you had rain whilst you've been walking this time round? Are you in the waterproofs? How are your shoes? Packs,
Um, yeah,
packs.
the waterproof gear, we carry that each day just in case. We normally check the weather before we go, but you have your waterproof jacket and you have rain pants and your shoes. Cam has Gore-Tex.
it's Gore-Tex.
And I went with something different. It's a waterproof liner in the shoe, so it doesn't have the restrictive
Oh
coating
yeah.
on top. So the water might come in, but it's breathable and it pushes the water back out. So we're all good with that. We've had a few days with rain where it's been tested and it's been okay. It's been cold, but your
But you
face is
rug.
wet, but everything else is not wet.
Jono, I
Yeah.
might jump in there for a little bit. Firstly, about how long we were thinking about doing it. After doing the first 100 kilometers, you know me quite well. I'm a little bit all or nothing,
Yes.
and I didn't feel like I had done it after
Yep.
100 and whatever kilometers. Like that was no the full one, 790. I've got to do the full thing.
Yep.
And around the waterproof gear. I reckon you'll appreciate this, Jono. Um, I love the TV ad sales. You
Who
know, when
doesn't?
I like, when you're watching some YouTube clips, or even, when you're watching, a bit of GMA
Macpac.
and all those sorts of things.
Yep.
And so there's this really good one about bear skin. Have you seen
Oh,
the
yeah.
bear skin?
I haven't.
Oh, you've got to keep. Now that we're talking about it, your phone will hear it, and it will
I'll
start
make.
start playing the ads to you.
Yep.
And so Sherilyn's right. The last time we had the lowest, we didn't even realise that there was waterproof rating. But last time we would have been better off wearing a plastic bag over our head, because it
Right.
was just porous. But we've got much higher rated waterproofing gear.
Important.
Not quite deadliest catch,
Yep.
sort of out on a
Yeah.
boat waterproof gear, but we've got good stuff
Yeah.
that is
They
actually
will.
that's doing its job.
Yeah. Good. So, what about food? So, carrying your pack each day, obviously, porters take a lot of your gear to where you're going to stay the next night. That's correct, yes?
Yep.
Well, first 4 days we had to
Yep.
carry everything. The porters weren't
Right.
available. So
Yep.
we have carried everything. So we haven't bought a ridiculous amount of gear. So, we're walking it with our son Chan, who's 8. So even he had his bag on for those first 4 days. And
Unbelievable.
now, yeah, now
Dave.
we've got a duffel bag that we just Chan puts his gear in it, and then we offload some of our gear that we don't need during the day. But one of the things that we do pack each day is chili sauce.
Hang on. Come again.
So when we're walking in our backpack, we do have some sriracha chili sauce.
Now, I am aware that you do like your food spicy. Please explain.
Well, there's a lot of tortilla that's being eaten,
Right.
which is like a bit of an egg and potato, onion type omelette thing.
Right.
It's fairly cheap. It's fairly filling. It's always available, and it's okay. But one day I came across a cafe that had some tobacco. I love Tabasco, but it had Tabasco in it. So I just added a little bit of Tabasco to. I added a lot of Tabasco really to the tortilla, and it turned it from being good to
Bland.
great. It was
Yeah.
almost like a flaming mo, turning it from good to great.
Yes.
And so now a bottle of sriracha travels with, and we had pizza last night, didn't we?
So,
And then
so when you
Sherilyn
these
said to
little
me last night, "Gee, you should have brought the chili sauce for this pizza." And then I opened
oh,
up my jacket, and sitting on the inside of my jacket was
it was like you're like selling a watch in Bali.
correct.
Now, so you stop in a lot of these little towns you pass through and have your lunch each day, or do you take your lunch with you in the mornings?
Sometimes early in the morning, if there's a bakery open, we'll buy a baguette, and we
Yes.
normally have some cheese with us. You know those cheese triangles?
Yes, lovely. Old school.
Yes, old school. So we normally carry that because sometimes you'll roll up into a small village and it's like a ghost town. Everything's locked up, no one's
Right.
home. It might be siesta time, or they just might not be open for the day. So you've got to carry a just in case lunch, which isn't too bad. It's all fresh bread. We
Beautiful.
normally have a first aid kit with us as well, just in case,
Yes.
Block of chocolate.
including chocolate because you need a little pick me up or whatever. But sometimes you'll roll through a town and you'll see it might be one place open, and every pilgrim who's on the trail has stopped there. So you stop as well. You have, your coffee or tea, and they'll have tapas or pinchos, so which is usually, like Cam was saying, the tortilla, or they might have a bocadillo, which is like a sandwich
Yes.
with your Spanish ham, paper thin, melt in your mouth sort of ham, really tasty.
Just
Um,
the thought of got me salivating here.
chorizo, all that sort of stuff. They love, ham, chorizo. That will be on
Easy.
the baguette. Yep.
Tea or coffee?
Yeah, mention the tea or coffee. So if you see one open, usually you'll take the opportunity to stop and you'll eat your
No.
lunch for the day, and the
Yeah.
baguette will roll through to dinner. Because again, dinner, you don't know. Sometimes we've rolled into a town, this was early on, and we didn't realize on Sunday nothing's open.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we rolled into a town, we got into our accommodation, and the lady was like, there's nothing open. So we ate whatever we'd packed for, snacks during the day. We were eating like nuts and fruit. and,
And that had
and
to.
yeah. So uh, if there's something open, you stop. You stop and
Yeah.
you eat.
You
Now
also
you
get
mentioned.
you also get your stamps there, Jono, as well. So one of the things is you're given a passport, a credential at the start,
Yes.
and as you travel through each town, places you eat at, accommodation, they give you a stamp. So they stamp your passport, and then
Oh,
at the end you present your passport to the office at the other end, and they sort of review it, and then they issue you a certificate called a Compostela. So we've got Chan? What have we got? About 40 something stamps so far.
Well, I've got 40 something. I
oh,
think you've got close to 40, and Mommy, I think she's the same as you.
Yeah,
so
we've got
is the idea to collect as many as you can, or is there? So are you 40 stamps at the moment out of how many possible
You
collected?
meant, yeah, you meant to, they recommend get 2 a day.
Right.
So, but sometimes you can only get one
Yep.
because nothing's open.
Right.
The 2 a day is usually if you're only doing the 100K to achieve the Compostela, the certificate at the end, you definitely need 2 a day from Saria onwards. But
Yep.
because we've been doing this for so long, like if we missed a day of getting stamps, it's not going to matter.
You'll catch up.
Yeah.
and there is definitely there is a season, like it doesn't close, but we're coming out of winter. So
Yep.
there are some things, accommodation, bars and cafes, even just road style shops that haven't opened up yet. So
Mhm.
in another month's time, walking through might be a very different experience. You might be able to find food left, right, and centre every day.
Right.
But coming out of winter, as Sherilyn said, sometimes it's just the one place that's open.
And with the change of season, would you expect the track and the course to be a lot busier with people completing the journey?
Yes. We've noticed a little bit of that already because with Holy Week, in Leon, apparently it's a thing that people do pilgrimage for Holy Week, so they just start walking. So
Yep.
yesterday on the trail, we're looking around going, who are all these new people? Because we didn't recognize any of them from the people we'd seen in the past few weeks. And
Yep.
all their gear was shiny and new, and we thought, no, they're just starting.
Right.
So yeah, there's a lot of new hikers. Apparently, some people started in Burgos, which is the start of the Meseta, the second half. Oh, the second third, I should say. Um, and as the season gets busier, there'll be more and more hikers, particularly in the last 100 kilometres, that will
Yep.
just pop up, which makes things busier. But like Cam said, there are people who do little, the pop up trucks. So they'll appear on the trail and that might be selling fruit and a few
Right.
bits and pieces. More and more of that will open up. But the trail is getting busier. Yesterday there was a line of us, not packed
Well,
too closely together, but enough where we were like, oh, this is starting to feel a bit different, where we'd walk and sometimes we wouldn't see anyone for a couple of hours.
yeah.
But in the peak, sort of like that June, July period, and particularly in the last 100 kilometres, our understanding, which we haven't experienced it, is that it's very busy. Like you're walking with a lot of people, and
Right.
they do stats each year, each day, but each year they sort of publish them. We're talking hundreds of thousands of people who do this a year.
Well,
Yeah,
that's massive.
it's huge.
So I bet your meetings. I'm sure you got no doubt you're meeting some wonderful people from all over the world by the sound of things.
Yeah, people from early on, there was a wider variety, I think. We had people from South Korea, Denmark, Italy, Belgium,
France, Italy, Spain, Norway.
Yeah, actually, not a lot of Spanish people. There at the moment, there seem to be a few more locals on the course.
Couple Australians,
Yeah, there's a Japanese guy today. Sorry, yesterday.
New Zealand,
Yep.
A whole lot.
America, Canada.
Yes, there are a lot of Americans on the trail as well.
So out of the 790 Ks, how far into it are you as we speak right now?
Well, according to the app, we've done 62.8%. So we have walked 480 odd kilometres.
Wow.
And we have 285 to go. And it's saying the total will be 766, but we were doing 790. So I don't know how that quite works out. But yesterday, the marker we passed said we had
299.
299. So
Yeah. Unreal.
It's quite phenomenal because Chan and I do the Darwin City to Surf every year, and that's sort of 12, 13 kilometres. And, we do that and, we're done for the day. We're sore.
Well, it's
and you
different
get,
climate.
yeah, you get to the end but now if we have like today's a 15-kilometre day, which is a short day for us,
Yes.
you know, that's more than a city to surf. Like there are days that we do 2 city to surfs.
Yes.
And our biggest day, I think, has been 25 kilometres. Now, when you stack that up against other people who are walking, like some people are doing sort of 30 kilometres, 30 plus kilometres in a day.
Big days. And I suppose it depends how much time you've got available to yourself to get through the whole track too.
Correct. Yeah. And look, we were pretty conscious at the beginning. Don't overdo it early on.
Yes. Ease into it.
Correct. So stage 1, like it's broken into 33 stages. Stage 1, which would be from St. John to Roncesvalles, we did in 2 days. So I think, we took that approach early on just to sort of, like you said, ease our way into it.
And acclimatise.
Yeah, and our bodies are holding up pretty well. We came across a girl yesterday and she was like, oh, just like she's only just started and she's like, oh, I got blisters. But I think there was something in it just going shorter distance early on and then sort of picking up some momentum, because the last time we did it, we went straight into it walking 20 plus kilometre days. And from day 2, we were broken.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was going to be my next question, Cam. How are your bodies holding up?
Good. Like, my knee reconstruction, what was that? 2016, end of 2016. So the knee's been good.
Yep.
My back, what was it? September 2024, 10 days on my back in hospital.
Yes.
Back's been good. I am traveling with some medication there, just some anti-inflammatory medication prescribed by the doctor, which I've been taking because I was a bit worried about that flaring up.
Too.
And it's been good. And then, that's got associated nerve damage down the left-hand sort of side of my body, down the leg, but that's all been good. My hip, these are just old footy injuries, some of them. On a cold morning, the hip takes a couple of kilometres to sort of warm up and feel good.
Yes.
Probably
Once
the
you get
most...
good. Once you get going, you're right.
Yeah, probably the 2 things that I'm noticing. My right foot, the last couple of toes on my right foot, pinky toe, the one next to it, the one next to that, they don't always cooperate. And it's there might be a little bit of pain or a little bit of rubbing, or they want to buckle underneath each other. Nothing major, but like that's probably been the most niggling little thing I have. And then the other thing is towards the end of the day, so you're sort of around the 20-kilometre mark, and then you sit down for, we'll just have a 2-minute break, drink some water, and a cool breeze hits you, and then you go to get up and you think, oh, okay, body's starting to seize up for the day.
Must keep moving.
Got to keep moving, exactly. So I've been, touch wood, largely very good. It's just a couple of toes on my right foot that, as I've been saying, haven't been always cooperating, but they haven't stopped me. And Sherilyn, you've been pretty good. You got a little bit of a little bit of a tendon thing down your ankle that's sort of causing a little bit of grief at the moment?
Yeah, that flared up yesterday in the last 5 kilometres. That was actually quite painful.
And how up today?
Today it's feeling okay. I've
Yeah.
just popped a couple of Voltaren,
Yeah.
and might just strap it up and see how it goes. But
Now,
that,
when I spoke to you a week ago, you mentioned that some of the gradients of the hills.
mm, y-
Are you
yes,
through the worst of that?
no. So we have recently it's been mostly flat. Now, when I say mostly flat, there's still been a few hills. And the one
Yep.
I was telling you about was it went for 3.4 kilometers at a gradient of 12% at the start, flattened out, and then went up again. So that
Yep.
was a grueling climb.
Remember what day that was?
That was coming out of Castro Jerez, and it was probably about 500 meters from the town. I can't remember what day it was, but
But
it
you'd had a few
was,
days belt before you had to tackle that hill.
had we,
Had a few days under your belt before you had to tackle that hill.
yes, we had.
Yeah.
But Jono,
The,
the first 2 days, it's like welcome to the Camino. You're going up over the Pyrenees.
Yeah. So
yeah,
you know you're doing it first up.
yeah, particularly on the second day in Val Carlos to Roncesvalles. I was just looking up the gradient for you. It's around the same gradient, around 12 percent around there,
Yeah.
but it's that goes for about most of the day you are climbing that hill.
Wow.
Yeah, and you climb up to about 1,100 meters high. So you go up over the pass, and it's very cold at the top. So
Yep.
the first part of the Camino really seasons you for hills because every day there's a hill like that waiting for you around the corner.
Yeah,
Um,
lovely.
we
And
do
what a
have,
phenomenal effort for Chan, an 8-year-old, to tackle those. Just phenomenal.
How are you feeling about it, Chan? The hills and all of that?
Well, at the start, I was feeling a bit sore from halfway through, so I had to take lots and lots of breaks. But
Yep.
uh, as I got in, I could just think the hills were easy.
Fantastic. Now, I think, Chan, when you get back to Darwin, that you've probably earned a cheese from the Pratt market following all of these, don't you think?
Probably a cheese.
It's definitely a cheese. You probably have 2 cans, I think.
Oh, let's not overdo it. Yeah, get the Korean hot dog with the cheese when we get back.
If you don't mind me,
I tell you what, we've you sort of you don't mind what you eat over here because you're doing 20 kilometers a day.
well, you
So
sort of have to got to put the fuel in because you'd be expending it quite a lot each day.
exactly. So there's a fair amount of blocks of chocolate, and they got those
Yeah.
good biscuits that we like there. They're kind of like a breakfast biscuit slash digestive biscuit. You know, they've always got a packet of those on the go. We've got
We
salt.
got
You kind of crave salt, so you know they little nuts or bits of corn and those sorts of things.
yeah, nice.
Yeah, cheese, plenty of cheese, bread. Like there's a lot of bread here. Everything has bread with it. Um, so it's probably not the usual food that you eat, but like you said, you got to
Well,
fuel up, and it's cold as well. So when you're cold, eating
yeah,
something makes you feel a bit warmer.
and you expend more energy too. If you don't mind me asking, when you roll into these little towns with your accommodation, are they expensive places to stay in each night?
Um, So probably the cheapest we've spent for a night's accommodation, I think was €50.
Yep.
Probably the most expensive we've spent for a night of accommodation would be about €110.
Right.
The average that we're spending is probably about the 75-80 mark euro.
Yep. Yep.
So the Aussie dollar, just double it.
Oh,
So we're probably looking about 150
yeah.
Australian a
Yep.
night for the accommodation.
Yep.
Different classifications of accommodation, and the price doesn't always line up. So there's albergue dormitories. We've stayed in a dormitory one night, and that was because we mucked up a booking and booked in a completely different town.
Right.
And so that's where we basically bought 3 bunk beds in a dorm.
Yep.
Like the dorms of 12 people, they were at this place, and there was a couple of dorms on the go, shared
Right.
toilet, showers, and all of that.
Yep.
Then you're in your albergue type hostel accommodation, but you've got a private room.
Yep.
And then there's accommodation where you're staying basically in someone's house, and they hire out a room, and some of them have an ensuite. So, you get your own private room in someone's house.
Nice.
There's hotel accommodation as well. And our pick has been the apartment. So you can get an apartment, 2 bedrooms, let's say, kitchen, might have a washing machine, not normally a dry, but a washing machine, lounge, TV, etc. Now, you think the apartments would be the most expensive? No, not really. It doesn't always line up like that. And you think sometimes the bigger places, so Pamplona was a big town, big city that we went through, running
Yeah.
of the bulls. Well, that's where we had our cheapest accommodation. That was a hotel. We had a rest day there, so we had 2 nights for €99. So the bigger the place doesn't mean more expensive. In fact, it often means less expensive because there's more options and it's early season.
Yep. Yep.
And the apartment doesn't necessarily mean more expensive. Probably the most expensive we've stayed in is where we've been in a room in someone's house.
Yes. So
Yeah,
you mentioned Cam, the unit or the apartment had a washing machine. Do you wait for those rest days to do your washing? Is that and like do you time it so you can wash your clothes on those rest days, or do you try and do it on the fly one night to the next? How are you coping with all of that?
yeah, we've got 2 sets of everything.
Yep.
So you're like a wash one, wear one type of thing.
Yep.
Early on, I was saying, like, I've got a black tracksuit and a red tracksuit. Wear the black tracksuit today and I'll wear the red tracksuit tomorrow. Then I'll wear the black tracksuit again and I'll wear the red tracksuit. And I was sort
Yep.
of flipping it that way. But I actually changed it. And now I just wear the red tracksuit every day and I'll wear the black tracksuit at night.
Yep.
So,
Uh,
yeah, like a clean one and a dirty one.
yep.
Um,
Good.
And so you've always got something clean to change into when you get to your accommodation. You have a shower, you've got something clean to get into when you go out for dinner or wandering around or just lounging around. You're not sitting in stinky clothes. And you're putting on your stinky stuff, I suppose, for the day's walk.
Yep.
Any opportunity available to wash, you take it. So that might mean you might just be getting, your socks done today, or you
Yep.
might find that you've been able to do absolutely everything and get it dry
Yep.
with a
Yep.
dryer, or you might get a few things done. You sort of just assess what you've got. Have you got a washing machine? Or are you going to wash it in the basin? Have you
Yep.
got a line, or do you have access to something? You can put it near a radiator to dry, or those sorts of things.
Yep.
Any opportunity, you
Yeah. Go.
go for it.
Yep. Well, it's fascinating, unbelievable. I'm loving listening to stories and along the journey.
Thank you.
And for someone that's, I don't have a great knowledge of the Camino whatsoever, but it's definitely opened my eyes up to what you're doing. And I've had a bit of a look at it myself. And yeah, it's something that I'd really like to have a crack at some point in time.
There's people who are fanatical about it in
Mm.
terms of how many they do and distances and the way they approach it. And then there's people who take a different approach. For example, we must have been pretty happy because we passed a marker that said something like we'd walk 200 kilometers. And so there was some French people coming along, and I was like, oh, look, we're less than 500 kilometers to go.
Yeah.
And they had started walking in the middle of France. So they had passed, like we'd just done over 200 kilometers. They had passed just over 1,000 kilometers.
Right.
So some people are doing. One person actually had walked from Belgium, hadn't they?
Yes, we had.
She'd walked from Belgium to Pamplona one year and then came back the next year to walk from Pamplona to Santiago. So, like, there's people who
Wow.
do massive distances. There's other people who sort of take a real simple approach in terms of you only take a bed in an albergue. You don't give yourself any
Yeah.
luxuries. You don't use technology. You don't listen to anything while you're walking. Where I'm walking along, got my headphones on, part of the day listening to the footy,
Yeah.
listening to podcasts, those sorts of things. So
Yeah.
you do it how you want to do it, really. That's the crux of it. Like, don't
Good that it's able to allow people to do it how they would like to too.
exactly. Don't
Yeah.
buy into you must do it just one way. You do it
No.
how you want to do it, and if that means putting your headphones on, having a nice hotel, having porters, and getting your pack carried, so be it.
Each,
And if
each
that
to their.
means exactly.
Yeah. No, that's wonderful. Congratulations to all three of you thus far. I won't give you too many pats on the back because you've still got, what are we, 62.8% through.
Yep.
I don't know. Like, it's interesting now that we're past halfway and we're getting closer.
Yeah.
I'm getting like a little bit sort of sad's not the right word, but getting a little
Do,
bit sort of like, oh no, it's going to be over soon.
do you feel as though you're just starting to warm up?
I feel that we're fit now.
Yeah.
We were fit before. Cam's got
Yeah.
this thing in his head that we weren't fit. We were fit before. This has obviously made us
Well,
fitter.
it's probably the mental challenge of knowing what you have in front of you and being able to punch through and get through it. That's probably more the fact.
Yeah, and for me, I can't wait till we're in Santiago. I would like a sleep in. But you're right, like you get up and like yesterday there are a couple of really small hills and we just motored up them, and the people who were new, we left them behind because they talk about getting your Camino legs. Well, we've been walking for so long where your legs just you just walk.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not the walking, that's the
So
issue.
what have you got left? 2 weeks?
About 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think about 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
I'm
Unreal.
calling this our pre-season, like, a decent 6 weeks of
Yeah.
pre-season, and we'll be ready to go into the season once we're done.
Yeah. Season properly, you're about to get to the finish line, turn around and go back again.
People are doing that. People are walking there, then walking back.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah,
Well, it's a time thing, isn't it? If you've got the time to do it, why wouldn't you?
we've seen a few people going the other way with their
Yeah.
backpacks and stuff.
And then
Unreal.
it's not an issue for us. We're not worried by it. We'll work it out later on. But when we flew Darwin, Singapore, Dubai, Paris, then we came down to the south of France, and then we started. Well, when we finish, our return flights are back through Dubai. So we'll have to just work out
Yes.
how we're going to get back, given the situation over in the Middle East at the moment.
Yeah, fingers crossed that all pans out for you, Cam.
Absolutely. Well, Jono, thank you so much for joining us
Thank you.
today to talk about the Camino, something a little bit different.
And thank you, the three of you, for giving me such an insight into what it's about. Like I said, you've really opened my eyes up to what it is about, and yeah, it's definitely something that's beyond my radar from now on. That's for sure.
Yep,
So,
maybe in the next few years you'll be walking it, and we'll be listening to your podcast.
let's hope so. But I won't give you too many pats on the back because, like I said, you've still got 37.2% of the hike to go.
We do.
Got to play all 4 quarters.
All 4 quarters, correct. You're probably into time on of the third at the moment.
Just getting through the premiership quarter now, and then we'll go into the final,
Exactly.
final innings.
Well, don't stumble like Carlton have managed to do for the last 12 months in the last quarter, Cam.
I bet.
Wonderful chatting.
Thanks, Jono.
Take care.
The rain in Spain stays mainly in the step by step through the sun and rain, over mountains, across the plains. WCBH is on the go. as we walk the Camino.